Welcome to this lecture on wordlist elicitation and wordlist collection. In this video, I will present best practices on how to collect a word list for linguistic fieldwork. As mentioned in the first lecture of this series on fieldwork ethics and informed consent, there are two main goals of collecting a word list. One may collect a word list to get an initial idea of a new language of study. Or a word list collection can be part of a survey project which aims at collecting comparable data across several languages. Before collecting a word list, a list of meanings in an intermediate language needs to be prepared and best printed out. In the case of Indonesia, this list would be in Indonesian, the national language. In the case of the Philippines, the list can be also in the national language or in one of the main languages of intergroup communication. Word lists are best collected in two steps. First, a group of speakers discusses on the best suitable words and expressions for each meaning and concept on the list. Second, the words will be recorded by one speaker in one go. In the following, I will discuss these two steps in a bit more detail. As mentioned already in Lecture 1, the ideal participants for Step 1 in a word list collection are a group of 3 to 4 participants with at least one elderly speaker among them. For more details on how to find participants, please check again Lecture 1 on Fieldwork Ethics and Informed Consent. So the group discussion should be audio and videotaped, and it's also important that informed consent is obtained from all participants beforehand. The researcher then goes through the list of meanings and asks how the speakers would say it in their local language. When all agreed on one word or expression, the researcher may write it down or ask one of the participants to take over the task of writing down the words. Depending on the length of the word list, this process can take quite some time. It may be even necessary to do a few hours on one day and then continue at the next day. For Step 2, one of the speakers should be selected. This could be either the speaker with the clearest pronunciation or simply the one who has more additional time to work with the researcher. So then a new recording will be started, and for each item the meaning should be read out first in the intermediate language together with a running number, and then the word in the language of study is pronounced twice. As I will now show in a short video clip where you can see an example of a word list recording in the Eastern Indonesian language Abui. Here the intermediate language is Indonesian.
1. Langit.
Adi.
2. Malam.
Tuntama.
3. Hari.
Tadeng.
4. Tahun.
Tung.
5. Besok.
Akun.
6. Angin.
Timoy.
7. Desa.
Melang.
Delapan batu.
Vi.
There are several options on how to record the word list. Either another speaker reads out the meaning, as in the Abui video we just saw, or the researcher reads it, as in the following example of a word list recording in the Eastern Indonesian language Atade Painara.
288 malas.
Metal pemalha, metal pemalha.
289 panas.
Kenatingan, kenatingan.
209 dingin.
Latihan, latihan.
291 baik.
Aluhan, aluhan.
292 jelek.
Gutun, gutun.
293 penuh.
Manukan, manukan.
294 kosong.
Amukan, amukan.
295 dekat.
Dayakan, dayakan.
296 jauh.
Doakan, doakan.
In both cases, the speaker answers by saying the local equivalent twice. It is also possible that the speaker says the words in the intermediate language and the language of study. In any case, the speaker should always have the notes from the group discussion with him or her and follow the agreed words. To summarize, word lists are best collected in 2 steps. First, all items are discussed in a small group of speakers and written down. This discussion should also be recorded. In a second step, the words with their meaning are recorded in a row. Each word should be pronounced twice by the speaker with a short pause in between. Thank you for listening and enjoy your word list collections.